we're doing 3.3 synthetic division, long division. Today we're just doing the long division part. So I really need you guys to pay attention to this. If you don't remember how to do long division, hopefully we remember because it's the same format that we use long division for these. All right, going back to long division. So pay attention to the steps on long division. First thing is arrange the terms of both the dividend and the divisor in descending power of the variable. So the highest power has to go first. Always arrange. That's one of the most important things. Make sure you arrange it in order, okay? So I'm going to highlight it. Arrange the order, descending power of the variable. If any term is missing, fill in the missing power. That's also super important for when we're solving these, and you'll see them in the example. Okay. Divide the first term in the dividend by the first term in the divisor. The result is the first term of the quotient. I know that sounds like a lot of terms, but you have to know what everything is, and I'm going to label it in the next slide on the example. Then you multiply. Okay, you have to say what number or what times this would give me what I have underneath. Write this resulting product beneath the dividend with the like terms linked up. So you're always going to link up the like terms when you're writing it. So that's another key thing. Change the sign and add the like terms. Don't forget, change the sign. That's another important thing you have to remember. Bring down the next term. Okay, so it's very similar to long division. And you're just going to repeat and repeat and repeat until you're done. You might have a remainder, which is fine. Now, if there is a remainder, this is how you're writing the answer if there's a remainder. So I'm just going to go ahead and just give you an example. All right, like I said, giving you guys an example, let's just see if we know how to divide. Let's go ahead and do 27 divided by 2. What am I going to do first? What times 2 gives me 2? 1. So then I'm going to look at it. 1 times 2 gives me 2, and that's what's going to go underneath. I'm going to subtract. Remember, you are always subtracting, solve it, and bring down the next term, in this case, the next number. 2 times what gives me 7, or closest to 7? Remember, it cannot go above. So 2 times 3 is 6, and I have a remainder of 1. We are not writing remainder 1. You can also write this as 13 and 1 over 2. Okay, so this is long division, just basic long division. We learned in elementary school. It's the same process for these types of questions, okay? So please follow along in the next examples. We're going to go ahead and do example number 1 first. So looking at example number 1, we're going to go ahead and we're going to solve this one. But we're going to go ahead and label first. You have to know what your quotient is, or sorry, you have to know what your dividend and your divisor is. So labeling. Okay, oops, let me not put it too high at the top. This is my dividend. And this is my divisor. Okay, just so we know. Dividend, divisor, my answer is my quotient. So let's go ahead and solve this. How are we setting up? What goes inside my house? I like to think of it as the divisor stays there. I'm drawing my house. And this goes inside of it, okay? So now I'm going to have x squared. I'm going to rewrite it to look a little neater. So this is kind of what it should look like. I'm going to rewrite it so you could see everything together. And it's going to be x squared minus x minus 2 divided by x plus 1. This is what it should look like. And this is what I'm going to go ahead and solve, okay? So how do we do this? Like we said before, we have to line up the terms when we're using it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this first term. What times x would give me x squared? X. X times x is x squared. So I'm not putting x here because it's not the same term. I'm going to go ahead and put x right here. Okay, again, they're the same degree of exponent. I'm going to put it in line. So now we're going to go ahead and multiply. X times x is x squared. And x times 1 is plus x. Remember, next step is I have to subtract, but pay attention to this. If I'm subtracting, remember I'm subtracting everything. What's going to happen to my signs? They're going to change. So this is now going to be a negative x squared, and now I'm subtracting x. These are going to cancel out. You should always try and get them to cancel out. They should always cancel out. And now I'm going to go ahead and solve. Now you have to know rules of integers. What's negative x minus x?
Negative x cubed?
Negative 2x. Negative 2x. You guys have to remember rules of integers or this is going to be hard. You have to remember rules of integers. Okay, bringing what I have next. And again, that's my next term. Looking at it. What times x gives me negative 2x? What times x? Think about it. What times x gives me negative 2x? Yes, it is negative 2. So now I'm going to have negative 2. And then negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 1 is also negative 2. And don't forget, I'm subtracting. What's going to happen with my signs? I'm going to change all my signs. Now this is going to become a plus sign. This is going to become a positive. Same thing, plus positive. These are going to cancel out. And then what's negative 2 plus 2? 0. So in this case, I'm not going to have any remainders, and this would be my answer. Okay, you have to follow long division rules. All right, let's go ahead and look at example number 2. Same thing, set up first. So I'm going to have x squared minus x minus 2 divided by x plus 3. So this is how it should look set up, and this is what we're going to go ahead and work with. So looking at it, what times x gives me x squared? What times x gives me x squared? It's just going to be x. So now, going ahead, x times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x, and it's going to be positive. Next, I'm going to go ahead and subtract. And don't forget, because I'm subtracting, all my signs are going to change. So now this is going to be a minus x squared, or negative x squared. This is going to be a negative 3x. These are going to cancel. And what's negative x minus 3x? Negative x, again, you have to remember rules of integers, combining like terms. Negative 4x. And then I'm just going to go ahead and bring down my next term, which is negative 2. Okay, same process. What times x gives me negative 4x? Negative 4. Okay, and then multiply. Negative 4 times x is going to give me negative 4x. And then negative 4 times 3 is going to give me negative 12. Good. Don't forget, you are subtracting. So now what's going to happen with my signs? Changing them. This is going to become a plus or a positive 4x. And this is going to become a positive 12. These are going to cancel out. Negative 2 plus 12. Negative 2 plus 12, I'm going to get 10 left over. This is my remainder. Now I have a remainder. How am I supposed to write my answer? Writing your answer, it's going to be your quotient plus your remainder over your divisor. And I'll highlight everything so you know where it is. So, looking at this, my quotient is this right here. My remainder is going to be 10. And then my divisor is this number. So now what is it going to look like as my answer, getting everything together? It's going to be x minus 4 plus 10 over x minus 3. Okay, and that's long division for example 2. Okay, please make sure your answer is written correctly. And that's it. All right, looking at number 4, same thing. However, if you're looking at it, I'm missing some terms. What do you mean by missing some terms? I go from x cubed to 1. I'm missing terms in between. So I'm going to fill it in. Okay, what do I mean by filling it in? I have x cubed. I'm going to go ahead and add in plus 0x squared plus 0x, and then I have that minus 1. Okay, fill it in. This is one mistake that most students will get wrong. Fill it in. You have to fill it in. You have to fill it in if it's not there. Fill in those missing x's with the powers. Okay, you have to fill it in. Now I can go ahead and start. Solve it like how we did before. What times x would give me x cubed? Anybody? What times x would give me x cubed? Thank you. X squared. Again, line it up with the same terms, the same powers, degrees. So I'm going to have x cubed plus 1x squared. Don't forget, you are subtracting. And looking at it, that means I'm going to change my signs. These are going to cancel out. What's 0x squared plus 1 or minus 1x squared? What's 0x squared minus 1x squared? Good. Negative. I'm going to put negative 1x squared just to keep that 1 there. But yes, you could just put negative x squared. That's fine. Going ahead and bringing down that plus 0x, and then same process, asking myself, what times x gives me negative 1x squared? Negative 1x, or you could just put negative x, that's fine. Okay, then I'm going to have negative 1x squared minus x. Okay, how did I get that minus x? That's negative x times 1. Just negative x. And then don't forget, you are subtracting, so something's going to happen to your signs. This is going to change to a plus or positive. Same thing with this one. These are going to cancel out. And what's 0x plus 1x? You could put 1x. Good. It's just going to be x. Again, you could put 1x. That's fine. In this case, we'll just put x and then bring down that minus 1. Now, what times x would give me x? 1. Positive 1. Okay? So this is going to be plus 1. This is going to give me x plus 1. And then don't forget, you are subtracting. Okay, so that means my signs are going to change. This is now negative. Same thing here. These cancel out. What's negative 1 minus 1? Rules of integers. Negative 1 minus 1. Good, is going to give me negative 2, and that's my remainder. Now I have to go ahead and write my answer. I'm going to have x squared minus x plus 1. That's my quotient. Plus my remainder over my divisor, which is x plus 1. And this is my answer that I have to have. Okay, this is my answer that I have to have. Yeah, you can also just write it as x squared minus x plus 1 minus 2 over x plus 1 is fine. Yeah. So this is fine as well. All right, example number 3, go ahead and set it up. 5x cubed minus 6x squared minus 28x minus 2 divided by x plus 2. All right, let's go ahead and solve this one. What times x gives me 5x cubed? What times x gives me 5x cubed? 5x squared. So now we have 5x cubed plus 10x squared. Again, how did I get that plus from? I multiplied 5x times 2. That gives me 10x squared. Don't forget you are subtracting, and because you're subtracting everything, you're going to change the signs. So these are going to cancel out. Negative 6x squared minus 10x squared is going to give me a negative 16x squared. And then go ahead and bring your next term down, which is 28x. Okay, now ask yourself, what number times x gives me negative 16x squared? Okay, what number times x gives me negative 16x squared? And that's going to be negative 16x. So doing the same process again. Negative 16x times x is going to give me negative 16x squared. Then negative 16x times 2 is going to give me negative 32x. Don't forget, you are subtracting these. And then don't forget you have to change your signs. So changing my signs, these are going to cancel out. Negative 28 plus 32x is going to give me 4x. Don't forget to bring down that last term and then ask yourself again, what times x gives me 4x? That's going to be a positive 4. And then positive 4 times x is 4x. Positive 4 times 2 is going to give you positive 8. And then don't forget you are subtracting these. Since you're subtracting, you are changing the sign. These are going to cancel. You're going to get negative 10 as your remainder. Remember the setup. I'm going to add my remainder. Let me go ahead and write it in a different color. Remainder over your divisor, which is x plus 2. Okay, you could write it like that, or you could write it as 5x squared minus 16x plus 4 minus 10 over x plus 2. Okay, and those are your two options for answers. You can either write it this way or add.